Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your patience. We were experiencing a few technical difficulties. We're trying to get resolved in trying to broadcast and share the meeting live on Facebook. So we want to apologize for the delay in starting tonight's meeting. And we thank you for joining us, and we thank you for participating in the design of the new Geneva Heights Elementary School. We're very excited for tonight. We got to this point, and we appreciate the patience and the diligence you've had in expressing your concerns and your desires for your new community school. With that being said, I'm going to stop. Since we are in right now, we're only broadcasting live on the Zoom call. There will be an opportunity after the presentations for you to share your thoughts, to ask questions and share comments. You'll be able to do so by raising your hand using the reactions button at the lower right-hand side of the screen. And then you'll be able to go off mute and ask your question directly, or you can always make comments in the chat room. If we're able to begin broadcasting on Facebook, we will come back with other instructions for that as well. The other thing that we want to make sure that everyone understands is that this meeting is being recorded, and even though we may not be able to share it to social media live tonight, the recording will be uploaded to both the Bond website and shared on social media at a later date. We do anticipate and we do appreciate the voice and the commitment to our schools shown by our community and our stakeholders. So now I'm going to pause to allow our interpreter to give instructions on how to join and participate in Spanish. Go ahead.
Hola, buenas noches. Si desea escuchar esta reunión en español, seleccione la opción en español en la parte derecha inferior de la pantalla, lo que es el mundo. La opción en español no es compatible con el Chromebook. Le recomiendo entrar a la reunión utilizando su teléfono celular, computadora PC, iPad, tableta o laptop. Gracias.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for joining us tonight for this meeting for the new Geneva Heights Elementary School. We're so excited to have you join us tonight. During this process, as you know, we've gained a new important member to our team in the form of the new principal, Patrice Lane. So we're going to pause right now. Oh, we have Miss Lane. You're getting a lot of silent applause from the audience. Yay! So we're going to pause right now to allow you to introduce yourself and to bring welcomes tonight.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Geneva Heights families and community. Listen, I don't have much to say, but I'm just glad that we're all here together. I know that I'm coming in on the tail end part of this part of the planning, but let me tell you, I had an opportunity to meet the team the other day. They're a team of professionals, and I know we're all professionals in the room. I know we have a lot, but I just believe that this team can build a building in the middle of the ocean and it stays dry on the inside. That's how professional this group is. I was like in awe. So listen, tonight, Geneva Heights family, what I want you to do is I want you to know that after tonight's presentation, I really think you're going to be inspired, and I believe that you're going to be informed. So just sit back, relax, eat your popcorn, your Coke, whatever you drink, you're at home, and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, and welcome to and on behalf of Dallas ISD and the Geneva Heights family, welcome to the team. We're so excited with the energy that you're bringing and the work that you guys are doing. Of course, behind every great principal, there is also a great executive director. We're so happy to have executive director for these schools here tonight. Ms. Pettis, go ahead.
Thank you, Jackie and Principal Lane. I'm just want to say how excited I am. I know we've been planning this next iteration of Geneva Heights for a while, but we're at the point now where it's starting to get real. We've got timelines, and we're in the space of doing some serious planning. So I'm just excited that we're entering this phase.
Fantastic. And I want to say thank you to both of you on behalf of Dallas ISD and all of our parents and our community for the work that you guys do every single day, especially during the difficult times we've had with the pandemic, ensuring that our students and our most valuable resources, our kiddos, are being taken care of and being educated and being loved on and encouraged to do their best every day. You really are our true heroes. And if I had a cape, I would give it to you, but I don't, so I can just give you kudos here tonight. We're still waiting on the person, as we've shared this before, Bond 2020 is a unique opportunity for Dallas ISD to bring educational excellence in the form of facilities. to many of our campuses, including Geneva Heights. It is the largest bond in the history of the state of Texas. And we're so pleased to have our Deputy Chief, Brent Alford, who leads these efforts to make sure that we're bringing exciting and dynamic projects to our schools. So Mr. Alford, I'm gonna pause now and let you give an overview and set the tone.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bell, and thank you, Geneva Heights community. This is our fourth meeting, and this has been quite a journey. This has been one of the most well-attended and active meetings I've participated in throughout this process. So kudos to you guys for getting involved, for hearing what we have to say, and we have another great presentation for you tonight. And then we'll open it up to a few questions and answers. But I think you're going to be pleased with these results. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our fabulous architects, BRW Architects, Ann Hildebrand and Chris Saino.
And before we go to Mr. Hildebrand, Geneva Heights community, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to get your tissues ready and your pom-poms ready, because I promise you what you're about to see is going to be amazing. Go ahead, Ms. Hildebrand.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back presenting to you and showing you the design of your new Geneva Heights Elementary School. I'm Ann Hildebrand with BRW Architects, and I also have Chris Saino with me today. And also part of our team, Abby Hiles and Edith Gomez are here today. So Chris, we're gonna start, if you could go to the agenda, thank you. We're gonna show you the site plan and the exterior renderings and close with a fly through of the design. And then the district will go over next steps and the anticipated timeline. So again, our project team for this evening, myself, Ann, Chris, presenting with me, Abby, Edith, and Lisa Lampkin with BRW Architects. So we had in our very first charrette that we did with you, you came up with 3 big ideas, the 3 goals for our new school. And one in particular that really stood out to me was that you wanted to remain a gem in the community and of course reflect your diverse community in the new school and adapt to the growth while still maintaining the small knit community that you have today. So just to orient you, here on the south is Goodwin Avenue, Del Mar on the east, Matilda on the west, and Vanderbilt to the north. The school will continue to have the multiple pickup and drop-offs area that it has today. The main entrance to the building will be reoriented to Goodwin Avenue to the south, and parking will be accessed from Matilda on the west side. We are retaining the beautiful gardens that you have in the front yard. That will be a great place for outdoor learning, community gardens, your chicken coop, all the amenities that you have today. We will have those there as well. We're creating this really nice, intimate courtyard where we'll have outdoor learning opportunities. And we also are giving you the field, the multi-purpose field, and 2 playgrounds and a basketball court. So now we're going to show you, give you a fly through and show you all the visual images and renderings of the building.
So just to reorient yourself in a different perspective, Goodwin is on your left, and Matilda is kind of at the top left of the screen. So you're seeing the original 1930s building on the right side of the building, of the screen. So I think, like Ann mentioned, those 3 big ideas that your community developed really led us to this solution which is trying to achieve all of those goals in celebrating the past while looking forward to the future. This is a view of the main entry from Goodwin. So a front porch kind of welcomes visitors and students as they arrive each day. And you're seeing that connection on the right-hand side to the existing two-story structure that we are keeping the shell of. And it's connected to the new building with this glass volume as the entry that actually has a see-through all the way to the courtyard. This is another view of that entry, kind of looking down the street a little bit more, but you're seeing that connection between the old and the new. And then here we're standing on the play fields that Ann talked about. So Matilda is kind of behind us. We're looking at your new gymnasium, and to the left, you're seeing the beginning of the playground area and the two-story classroom wing. And now we're inside that secured courtyard that Ann talked about, that I like to think of as that gym of the school, just like this is the gym of the community. So it's protected from all four sides, and it's providing primarily outdoor learning spaces, as well as just access to the outdoors from both levels. And as we raise up in that courtyard, you're able to see at the top of the screen a rooftop porch. So this is going to be a great amenity for messy science experiments or art projects, and it's really easy access from that second floor classroom wing. This is a view of the kind of connector collaboration space between the gymnasium and the two-story classroom wing. And then this view is the west elevation. So from your new parking lot with Matilda just behind us, you're able to see that the canopy kind of reaches out to protect the students as they enter and exit and provide shade and cover for after school pickup. And this corner is also it is much closer to Matilda in a two-story, so it announces itself to the public from Matilda, which is, I think, a really nice feature. Here are a couple more views of the classroom wing from the playground and play fields. So we've organized the play fields, the playgrounds, the outdoor basketball courts, kind of all in this area. So it is a very active part of the site and easily accessed from the gym, which you're just getting a glimpse of on your far right. And hopefully you are seeing motion. I am on my end. I know streaming a video on this platform likely has a choppiness to it, so hopefully you can handle that. But we're just going to kind of tour around the building or the site, and it helps you kind of understand the holistic vision from a different perspective. So here I think of it as the drone view over the cross section of the site, looking into the courtyard, seeing glimpses of that rooftop porch. And then now we're down in the courtyard, again, looking to the north. So you're seeing that a one-story classroom wing portion with the rooftop porch, and then it becomes a two-story portion of the classroom wing. And we're about to cut through that connection between the site, that is a collaboration space. And then on the other side of that collaboration space is the active play fields and playground for the site. And then again, so Matilda's behind us. We're going to wrap around the north side. And they're seeing the two-story wing that we've broken up into two different kind of volumes and materiality to help deal with that pedestrian scale that we think is really important for this neighborhood, and give a lot of glazing to the classrooms and have a playful yet refined elevation study. And you're seeing the original building in that foreground. And now we're going to fly through the main entry and watch out for these people. And you'll catch a glimpse as you enter the lobby into the cafetorium. and then right back out to the courtyard. So we're always seem to have connection views and physical access to that courtyard space, which is, again, kind of the heart of the school, and it's going to be a fantastic amenity. So that's the conclusion of the exterior design of the new school.
Thank you guys so much. Again, what a wonderful addition, and what a wonderful way to celebrate Geneva Heights and to make sure that we've captured that big aspect. Geneva Heights, you certainly thought big, you planned big, and the architects heard you, and they made it big. Before we pause here, we were able to fix the technical glitch. So we are also streaming live on Facebook. If you're joining us on Facebook, please feel free to share your comments, your thoughts, and ask any questions as comments, and we'll get those answered as well. We're going to pause right now because I think there's some details coming up because, of course, since there is a new building, and because of the nature of the site itself, we know that our children will be transitioning temporarily during construction to a new location. So we're going to go ahead and move into those discussions right now, and hold your questions until after we hear that discussion. Then we'll come back with you both on Facebook and on the Zoom call with any questions. So I think, Mr. Bates, we have an anticipated timeline here. David Bates actually is over our maintenance department. They're doing a fantastic job, and they're charged with helping with the move between these buildings. So Mr. Bates, take it over.
Sure. So I'm excited. Some of you may remember when a couple of years ago, I came with Stephanie Elizalde and spoke in the auditorium there, and we were excited for this bond to pass and what we could do. So while Mr. Alfred, has a huge charge and gets to play Chip and Joanna, me on the other side, I get to kind of fix up some spaces and some swing spaces for the kids temporarily. While he builds these wonderful structures. There's also a couple project managers on here. They'll be with you throughout the course of the project, the new Geneva Heights and the transition to the former Jill Stone. So what we are charged with right now is kind of rebranding the former Jill Stone to make it feel like Geneva Heights. We're talking about graphics on the outside of the building, graphics on the teachers' doors, kind of just that whole, embody that spirit of Geneva Heights at this temporary location. Currently, we are moving all the former Jill Stone furniture out of the building. And then we're going to clean up, we're going to paint, we're going to, clean up the courtyard. We have, inspections scheduled for burglar alarm, fire alarm, elevators, kitchen, the whole 9 yards to make sure it's ready to go. Also, we're going to bring in a few portables and make some additional spaces out of the library, classroom spaces, because what we typically like to do is we like to take the teacher from Geneva Heights. He or she may be in room 117A. Box it all up with his or her furniture, pick it up and take it over and put them in, the former Jill Stone class 217 now, right? We want the least amount of disruption for, a teacher who's really worked their tail off the whole year and is going to a temporary site to teach their tail off for another year, right? So the project managers that are on this call as well, if I'm missing anything, please jump in. But we had a discussion the other day about, the portables coming in, the fencing around the back, the security, the locks, the painting, the cleaning of the courtyard, the gym. There's also a little area in the back. I want to make some more green space. And then we're going to do all that now between today and spring break, and hopefully have a pretty decent looking product at spring break. Maybe after that, we can do some tours with the community and with the staff. And then, we'll continue to enhance the building. And then again, we'll box everybody up, bring them over, put them in their space this summer. So they'll be ready to operate out of that in August. So I think I covered it all. I'm sure I missed some things, and there'll be questions. And I'm free to come to the campus and talk to the PTA at a meeting at Geneva Heights. We can discuss a little further, or we can do it at SPDM or whatever the principal wants to do. We can, I'll make myself available to come chat through this. So the two project managers, Bruce and Avi, if I've missed anything, please feel free to jump in.
I think that covers it.
Perfect.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, if Mr. Alfred is Chip and Joanna, then I guess you have to be the Property Brothers.
Yeah, I do feel like I tried to sell that building, so thank you.
Yes. But I want to, before we move forward and open up for questions and all those sorts of things, I do want to stress the fact that one of the things that Dallas ISD is committed to is having an aggressive and a forward-thinking communication plan throughout these particular transitions. We know the fact that it's a big move, it's big things happening, big changes and all those sorts of things. So we'll be working very close. Our communications team, our marketing communications team, we'll be working very closely with both the principal, with the project managers, with Mr. Bates' team, with everyone to make sure that we're communicating in advance and keeping you updated and informed about everything that's going on over the entire construction period, because we are here to support you from the move out of the existing Geneva Heights, the transition to the former Jill Stone, all the way to the transition back to your new campus, straight from groundbreaking all the way through that big ribbon cutting ceremony and celebration we're going to be passing. So we want you to know we're going to be communicating with you all throughout the way, and we're always here to support and provide information. Now, if you are joining us on Facebook, again, you can ask questions and make comments in the comments section. If you're joining us right now and you're on the Zoom call, because we do have a number of people on the call, I'm going to ask that you would raise your hand if you want to go off mute to ask any questions. I am monitoring and will call you by name to allow you to go off and ask any questions. But right now we do have a couple of things in the chat. So we're going to go to the chat room first. And of course, you can always just submit your questions in the chat. The first question we have is for Mr. Rowe. What is the structure in the staff visitor parking lot? I think that was on one of the renderings.
Oh, yes, that is the chiller building.
Okay. Okay, great. Now there's a question, and Mr. Alfred, I think this is going to best go to you about the timeline. They asked their questions about why the time has been expanded from a year and a half to two full school years. If you wouldn't mind asking that.
Yeah, that's where the logic is taking us right now. The contractor would actually be finished sometime around January, February 24. And we typically move schools either over winter break or right in the fall. With this logic landing really after that, it kind of pushes us out to the fall. But we're going to monitor it. I talked with the team yesterday. We're going to monitor it. And if there's any chance for that schedule to improve, I'm going to communicate that with communications and school leadership to see if we can have a winter move instead of a fall.
Okay, great. And also there's a question here about the start of construction. We're showing the start of construction in the fall of 2022. Can you maybe go over from this point forward what next steps are going to be going on that allows us to be able to begin construction projected in fall 2022?
Sure. So architecturally, like I say, through these meetings, you've seen us go from our pre-design to our schematic design. And right now we're at what we call design development, which is kind of our second stage where we kind of have all the building laid out, the materials picked. But now the architect is really going into the construction document phases. And that would take another 4 or so months. So land us right in the summer. And there's a bidding and procurement time we also have to go through, as well as permitting with the city that you're not seeing on the timeline that's built in. So that's what's landing us demoing the building in the fall and actually starting our, what I'm gonna call our vertical construction later this year in the winter.
Okay, and I know joining us tonight is a member of the, Ms. Vollmer, you must be a mind reader, because joining us tonight as far as the transition team is also a member of our transportation department. Mr. Sandoval, I believe, is on the call. The next question goes to you. What is happening with busing and transportation? I don't know, Mr. Alfred, if you want to begin that conversation about what the projection is, or Mr. Sandoval, if you want to take that call?
Yeah, I'll start off and I'll let Mr. Sandoval finish up. We plan on having a drop off at the current school and shuttle or charter in between from Geneva Heights to the former Jill Stone School. So, Mr. Sandoval, do you want to add any more detail to that?
No, I think that pretty much summarizes it. Just going to shuttle the students.
Now, so everyone knows, we have created and we'll be submitting that. One of the communication tools we're going to be using is the transportation. This transportation that has created a parent survey to gauge your interest in what they need to do. So one of the communications that we'll be going out from the principal we're working with is that survey to our parents to address the transportation issue, so we can have a real transportation plan defined, hopefully before this end of this school year, prior to the beginning of the next school year. Now, there was another question. I'm going to try to combine a couple of these here about the whole demo permitting and why there was a couple of questions about why the design hasn't already been submitted and permitting has not been submitted already to expedite the timeline, and so other things about the whole permitting process. I don't know how much more detail you want to provide, Mr. Alfred, if you can, as far as clarity on exactly what that process looks like. I know you shared the estimated time frame, but maybe a few more details might help to clarify why the design has not yet been submitted to the city, if you will.
Yeah, I guess basically because it's not ready at this stage. There's a highly technical part of the design process that the architects are engaging in now. And this is the typical time frame it takes to design a school of this size and complexity. There's a lot of engineering. There's a lot of collaboration with the city as well. And this is the same timeline we're on that we shared at the beginning. And Chris, do you want to kind of weigh in on your design timeline?
Yes, that's right. We've been committed to the original schedule of being complete with our design this May. I think this community engagement that we've had with our multiple charrettes really places a lot of importance on the design. And so we don't want to shortcut that design phase. And just as you said, Brent, once we have that design, we need time to develop the construction documents, the more technical. That includes all of our consultants, the mechanical, the electrical, the structural, and the plumbing that goes along. And of course, the permitting that's involved in the bidding and procurement of the contractor.
Great. Now, we have a question about the former Jill Stone building. Mr. Bates, this may go to you. How many students, what's the current capacity for the former Jill Stone building, and including the plan for portables?
Okay, yeah. So I'll start off by saying one good thing about the tornado, which there wasn't very many good things, but it did teach us how to pivot, right? So we had to move the kids from the old Walnut Hill into Tom Field. And we had to do the same thing with the Thomas Jefferson kids. So those lessons learned, we look at capacity of the building, we look at the capacity, current enrollment, projected enrollment, and how can we fit them in that building. Right now, the optimal capacity for that building is about 420 with the portables that we're going to bring in, and the other additional spaces that we're going to make. We'll be able to get about roughly between 515 and 525 in that building. And then again, that, when we bring in the portables, we have to redo the fence in the back and, secure the site and do a lot of different things. I think that we've done it a couple times. We've done it with South Oak Cliff and Village Fair. We've done it with, like I said, Walnut Hill and Tom Field. We're just fortunate enough right now to have those spaces available where we can move a population and build them a great space and then move them back.
Wonderful. Now, while we're talking about capacity, could you share again the capacity of the new Geneva Heights building? I think, Anne, Brent?
Yes, it's 750 students.
Fantastic. Now, this goes, I think, Mr. Bates, this might be for you as well. What will be done regarding security at the former Jill Stone building?
Yeah, so again, bringing in portables gives us an opportunity to upgrade our fence, right? So we could do a 6-foot or 8-foot fence in the back around a property, doorbell buzzer system, to secure the school from the outside. Avi and I, we're going to walk it, I think next week, and look at all the door locks, both doors in each classroom, upgrade their lock system. And I think Avi will look at their camera system and again, fire, sprinkler, burglar, and elevator.
Fantastic. Now we have a number of questions coming in about after school care. And Mr. Alfred, Ms. Lane, Ms. Petters, I'm not sure if this has been discussed yet, but we want to make sure we flag this. They ask about the offering of after school care at the former Jill Stone with transportation back to Geneva Heights. So I'm assuming, and Mr. Sandoval, you might make note of this as well, that if after school care is provided at the former Jill Stone, which would be the temporary Geneva Heights, will there be a second round of transportation provided for those students who are in after school care back to the original Geneva Heights? And someone asked, is there space at the former Jill Stone for Alpha Best? I'm assuming that's an after school partner. And several questions about where will it be located. So I'm not sure if we've had an opportunity to discuss that or plan for that yet, or just something to put on the radar. Mr. Alfred, Ms. Petters?
I'll go ahead and answer that. We have
Okay.
not had an opportunity to plan for the after school program yet. I'm meeting with Mr. Bates this week, and we're going to talk about the spacing at Jill Stone. So once we get an idea of where we will be, then we can go ahead and get with Alpha Best and make those necessary changes if we need to provide transportation or if we need another location. We'll just look into all of those things.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback on that. That former school had students right before the new school was built, and they had an after-school program. So I think we can make that work. Plus, since we are chartering, correct me if I'm wrong, Jaime or Brent, since we're chartering, we can charter and run whatever routes we want.
Yeah, that was my thinking on it. But me and Jaime have to kind of work that out. But yeah, what do we have to do to accommodate that?
Okay, great. So we are making note of that, and so the parents will know that will be again one of the items that we will make sure that we're coming back, including communicating those plans for you as a part of the transitioning messaging. So we have made note of that. And there's a question about what timing for any about drop off, those types of things. I'm going to answer that on behalf of the district. The complete transportation plan has not yet been developed. It is under development. And again, that's part of the messaging that we will be communicating back with you as far as FAQs and other facts. They'll be separate so that you will get a FAQ about transportation. So everything you need to know and about aftercare, you will know before the big day, before we actually transition over. There's a question for teachers. For teachers, will transportation be provided for our classroom furniture and supplies, or is that something the teachers will need to independently arrange? Mr. Bates, you guys move all that, right?
Yeah, we'll do all of it. As a matter of fact, we have a company that we outsource to, and Move Solutions. They'll come in, and all we're going to do is ask the teachers to box up their stuff. And if there's anything personal that they don't want us to move, to take it with them. But pencils, books, desks, everything. We'll move it and bring it to your new location.
Fantastic. One-stop shop. Now, there was some questions, and I don't think this has fully been developed yet, but there was a concern about the drop-off at the construction site and the move for the shuttle service. Mr. Alfred, if you want to discuss that, or Mr. Sandoval, the concern was there seems like it's maybe difficult at an active construction site, and could we have a pickup spots in the neighborhoods instead?
Sure, I'll address that. Actually, that is the plan, and that is why we are surveying the parents to see where the majority of parents are wanting to have some of that transportation. We can designate this was the original plan, to designate some stops that would take the students to the former Jill Stone. If it is an active construction site, we do not want students there, as it would definitely be dangerous.
Okay, great. So again, look for that survey, that transportation survey coming your way soon, and you can have participate. We want to make sure that we're hearing you and addressing the needs as the plan is being developed. To Mr. Bates, there's a question about the former Joe Stone and the fence around the back of the building. The concern is that it didn't seem like it was very high or very secure. So is that going to be replaced or enhanced in some way, since that fencing does back onto a public park and walking trail?
Yes, bringing in those portables gives us the opportunity to mess some things up that we have to fix, and the fence would be one of them. So we knock that down, and then we can put a better fence up. And I think, Mr. Alfred, correct me if I'm wrong, or Avi, the city will let us do like 6. I know we can do 6 foot because we do that at all of our high schools and middle schools now with the black wrought iron fences. They may even allow us to do 8. So we'll be able to secure it.
Yeah, you're correct. I don't foresee an issue with the fence. We just got to get it going.
Okay, we have a few kudos coming your way, team. Miss, I think it's Mildred and Tiffany. They're both shouting you out. They said they were so relieved that you all found a former building, a closed building to move into instead of splitting the school up. And Miss Tiffany said that she was not ready to meet new kinder moms to grow with. So we're very happy that we were able to come up with this solution. I do have a raised hand from, I believe it's Ladette. Ev Ladette. If I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, I do apologize.
It's all right. It's Lede, and I'm sure some folks are chuckling. So I think everybody saw Jamie mention, who's head of SBDM, that we have a subcommittee, which I'm leading, to work through some of the school transportation security stuff. So I manage an architecture firm, but we build resorts and not schools. So this is a little new to me. But I also have a private security license in Texas. So I think I have unfortunate information bias. But with regard to security at the school, because I know it's going to be one of the hotter topics, I think previously we had heard that there were no lockdowns and a catalytic converter had been stolen from Geneva Heights. So, the two were equal. I think recently we've learned that there's been a couple lockdowns at the old Jill Stone site per year for the last couple of years. So to you, David, I think whenever it was asked about security, I think that's a little bit more of what people are asking about. Are we going to be able to, maybe call on the ISD police to do some increased patrols? And really, we don't need to get any answers for those now. Being on this subcommittee, I know I'm going to get these questions, and I just want to know what's the best forum, what's the best way to communicate with you all, so that I know that we're collecting all of that information, passing it on, getting good information back to the families that are inquiring.
So it's a great question. We're already trying to get in front of it. We've gone through this when, let's say, the Walnut Hill community didn't necessarily want to go to Tom Field, right? But now they've been there for a couple of years. They love it. It's home, and they can't wait for their new building. I feel the same way about this, like I did with Village Fair and going back to South Oak Cliff, with Edison kids going back to TJ. So I would really like to, again, have some time to work with our police department, because we can increase patrols. We have a police officer at TASB. We have a police officer at Conrad High School. And sometimes we have them do, checks. So I'd like to have some time to put some things together, but then when the principal schedules SBDM or PTA, like I said, I would love to come. We can talk through it. I'll answer the questions I know about now, and then there'll be more that'll come from that meeting, and we'll just continue to answer them and make everybody feel as comfortable as possible. But we're stronger if we stay together. So moving the school instead of splitting the school up or sharing the school, this is the right move. And we have proof, because we do it as many times as we possibly can. John Quincy Adams getting a new school, they're moving into the old Hawthorne. So we're blessed to have these empty spaces that we can keep communities together. I'll, PTA and SBDM would be the best place for me to come and present and share.
That's great, David. We appreciate it, and we look forward to it.
Thank you.
And I want to again commend the Geneva Heights community on your forward thinking, and you're being proactive in things. And we do see the comment here about the SBDM committee having subcommittees. And our staff is looking forward to working with your subcommittees and with SBDM and with the PTO, PTA to make sure that we're integrating those messaging, because of course you are our ambassadors for the school. And it's important that you're able to carry forth the messages that we create. So we all make sure we're keeping our kids at the forefront, which is always our main goal. There's a question regarding technology. Does a technology like smart boards get moved for the teachers to use at the former Jill Stone as well?
Yep, that's correct. So I'm telling you everything. We're going to pack them up. If you're in room 102, you may be in room 327 at the new place, but it'll look like your old place. And that's our practice. Everything: computers, laptops, smart boards, CALs, the whole nine.
Great. Now there's a question here that I'm going to answer. When are we targeting the initial communications to all parents and neighbors in the community? We're going to be working to make sure that we don't want to inundate you with communications, but we do commit to having some communication out to you prior to spring break. There are a lot of things that are still under someone is off mute. If everyone can, there we go. We're committing to have the first round of communications prior to spring break. And then we'll continue to get information, work with the post to get information out after that. We want to make sure we're hearing a lot of the questions here, and some of these may be able to be answered prior to spring break. So we want to make sure we're giving you the best amounts and most comprehensive communications as possible. We do commit that prior to spring break, you will have your first communication about the movement about the school going in your hands. Another one from just a thank you. Also would like to say, as a teacher, this looks like a wonderful design to facilitate student learning, and especially as a science teacher, I am thrilled about all the secure outdoor learning spaces and patio for messy science experiments. Another one from the Zabby, I think it's Manuel Zabby, as a 61 graduate of the old REI, I could not be more pleased that the original structure will remain. Well, we're happy to have done that for you, and congratulations on being a 61 graduate of the former campus. And thank you for your input. Bravo, BRW, love the design so much. Sorry we jumped into relocation concerns before we had a chance to give you the positive feedback. So pre-K is being asked about now. How will pre-K work regarding drop off, pick up, the size of classes, et cetera? Also, as a Lee Geneva Heights alumni, the new plan looks fantastic. I think that some of those issues regarding pre-K will be addressed in that survey, and we may not have the answers for those yet, but that will be a part of the transportation plan as well. A lot of people loving the design, a lot of comments loving the design on Facebook, a lot of thumbs up. Very excited to see it happen, loving the new building. I do see your email to make sure we'll capture that, and thank you for sharing that in the comments as well, sir. We are happy with as much communication as possible. Please keep it coming. Don't worry, you will get sick of hearing from us. BRW, I love how you have mixed the designs and listened to the community. It looks great. I want to ask if the playground equipment was going to have covers, or is the height of the new building going to shield the equipment from the sun?
Yes, they will have covers. We decided not to show them in the fly through and the rendering so that you could get a better feel of the site and the building. But that is a standard that comes with all new playgrounds with the district.
Fantastic. The outdoor spaces look incredible. That's from Ms. Jennings. I am pleased that the music rooms looks like a great size. So that makes me my music teacher. I can picture the outdoor DEAR time in the outdoor patio. So basically, congratulations and kudos. You knocked this out of the park is what I'm hearing from the Geneva Heights community. What a successful way. And again, this would not have been possible without your input and without your concerns, and without your diligence, and without your support. Our comments have slowed down. If anyone else like to ask a question, make a comment, please just, okay, there's another one. Can you talk about where the gardens will be located? I have and has the master gardener has been consulted?
There are multiple opportunities for those amenities on the site. We would propose that they land on, we created ample opportunities for those to be provided on the east side of the building. And we're adding a secure fence around that, an ornamental fence around that area, and re-landscaping the area. The trees will remain in that area, but we'd like to preserve this internal courtyard for as we're showing it here, but obviously this is also an opportunity to create those master gardens here too.
Okay, great. There's a question about on the east side of the building, will there be a fence as well, or will that be open area with no fencing?
Yes, that's exactly what I was just talking about. That
Okay.
area will have the fence around it.
Okay, great. Okay, I think we've kind of slowed down. Everyone seems to be in a very happy place, a great place about this. I'm excited to announce that we do have, and we'll be putting that in the chat room as well. If you want to keep track with this on this project and on other bond projects, we do have, excuse me, a website dedicated to this particular project where you'll be able to track the movements of, you'll be able to track the movements and the progress on this particular point. You can see the renderings. We'll be taking pictures throughout the process. So you'll get to see dirt moving and other things. I'm going to place that. Thank you, Mildred. I'm going to place that link to the website. So you can share that, please, among the community. Get used to going to that one to see about questions and different information about that. We're just thrilled to be able to, again, have gotten this process. Ms. Wright, I see you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I want to say the building looks beautiful. I think a lot of people are pleased. And I just want to reiterate what Mr. Leday said. I think there are a lot of us that are concerned about the security for our temporary site at Jill Stone. And I just hope we can really look at that to make sure that people feel comfortable going into that this spring, because we're going to be there a while. And there's definitely some facts we need to take in place and just look at all the things we can do to feel safe for our kids. So please let that conversation continue and happen sooner the better.
Great. And again, thank you so much. Does anyone else want to make a comment? Raise your hand to make a comment, express a concern.
Can we hire you, Ms. Bell, to do this for our office?
I thought you were my friend. Now you're gonna get me fired. My boss is on this line. Shh.
Trying to get you paid. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I placed the new website, the new URL. We have a vanity URL that directs to this project website, and it is dallasisd.org/the new Geneva Heights. So that's where you can always go there to find information, updates, and other things, to share questions. And again, throughout the construction process, we'll update that site with construction pictures and more information. And that's just always a good go-to location. And as well, all of the meetings have been chronicled there as well. As we're closing this meeting, I do want to reiterate the fact that how pleased we are and give kudos to this community for being active, engaged, and involved throughout this process. And I'm going to challenge each one of you to be a committee of one, to go out to your community members, your neighbors, your friends, your children's parents in the classrooms, to keep them up to date on what you've heard here today, and not just now, but throughout the entire process as we move from creating a brand new learning environment for your children. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Alfred for next steps. He can walk you through I think he's already said some things. We want to make sure that everyone's clear about where we're going from this point. Mr. Alfred?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bell. And yeah, Mr. Leday, she's baked into the formula, so you can't have it right now. But yeah, our next step, like I say, since we have our design, and I'm glad you guys are pleased that we don't have to go back to the drawing board, we're going to push forward with the technical part, getting these construction documents completed around May. submit them to the city for permitting, and do some bidding over the summer so we can get our demo package out and start taking down the Geneva Heights building and start our construction by the winter. But we'll keep you guys posted. Like I said, I think, this was a great series of meetings, but now we're going to go down into the SBDM meetings and kind of talk about these security concerns and meeting with Principal Lane to make sure she's fully supported and we're communicating with her the timeline. So other than that, we've got a groundbreaking, and then my favorite part are ribbon cutting coming up when we get together again.
Yes, and in between a topping out ceremony, we're going to do it big for you guys again. We're going to take it big for the 2020 bond. There'll be plenty of opportunities. Principal Lane and I were brainstorming yesterday about other things you want to do to for the kids and for this particular community. So look forward to the next couple of years of hearing from us and celebrating with that ribbon cutting ceremony when you enter into that brand new spanking building. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over. Mr. Bates, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to share?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for the district. I've been in it for 24 years now, and what Mr. Alfred's going to do for us is amazing, and what he's going to do for your community is going to be much needed. So I'm excited. Thank you, guys.
Great. And last but certainly never least, we want to have closing remarks by the principal, the new kid on the block here, who's going to be leading Geneva Heights through this transition and all the way through the ribbon cutting. That means you can't go anywhere either, Ms. Lane.
Okay, you got me.
Okay, we got you. So for closing remarks, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so Geneva Heights family, now we've got the official word. It's time to start planning and tackling some of these issues and challenges, and let's begin to put things in place to make the former Jillstone a place where our kids can grow and learn. And then in the midst of doing that, supporting the new construction of the new Geneva Heights. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I look forward to seeing you bright and early in the morning.
Okay, great. And thanks everyone for joining us again, and have a wonderful evening. The video recording and the presentation for this meeting will be uploaded by close of business tomorrow. So you can share that information with people who were unable to attend, so they can be up to date on what exactly went on. And remember, share the news about the new Geneva Heights. We're thinking big. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.